Hey folks, this is yours truly, James Carosa, the one and only Cake Chef, here to proclaim that I love Staten Island. Why? Because it's a great place to live, to work, and to raise your family. But every once in a while, I like to go back to Brooklyn, back to the old neighborhoods that I used to hang out in. Bay Ridge, Borough Park, Bensonhurst, Brooklyn Heights, Park Slope. Sometimes I even go down to Red Hook, and I have my favorite roast beef sandwich at a place called DeFonte's. I don't know what it is about Brooklyn at Christmas time, but there's some sort of magic in the air. I don't know if it's the light layer of snow covering the bums on Van Brunt Street, or perhaps it's the little children, gaily frolicking up and down Flatbush Avenue picking pockets. Or perhaps it's just because the dog crap freezes. But whatever it is, it feels like Christmas. And it reminds me of how every Christmas Eve we used to go to my grandma's house, sit around the dinner table, eating about 20 different kinds of fish, staying up until the wee hours of the morning, playing games and telling stories. And one of those stories I'd like to share with you right now, and I'm going to tell it to you with rhymes and everything. And it goes something like this. You see, folks, it was the night before Christmas in Sheepshead Bay. All the kids was asleep, getting ready for the big day. All the stockings were hung on the furnace with care, in hopes that by morning, they'd all still be there. Me and some broad, we were getting ready for bed. I wore pajamas, she had a paper bag for her head. When up on the roof, I heard this big crash. I thought it was a burglar. I was gonna kick ass. I walked out into the fire escape, looked up in the sky, and what did I see? This freaking fat guy with a red suit and boots that came up to his knees. In the moonlight, he looked just like Dom DeLuise. He had this big sleigh pulled by these reindeer. He called one of them Dancer, so I assumed he was queer. But when he stepped off the roof, it became clear to me that this guy was looking to steal my TV. Because on his shoulder he had this big sack. As he snuck down my stairs, I planned my attack. I waited a second till the timing seemed right and smacked him in the head, bada bing, with a pipe. He fell to the floor with a groan and a thud. I was kind of surprised I didn't see no blood. Instead he rolled over, looked me right in the eyes. When I saw who I hit, I near started to cry. I said, "Yo, Santa, I'm sorry, alright?" He says, "Not for nothing, but this just ain't my night. I got lost in the Bronx, ran over some nuns. I had a near miss at Kennedy. Even Rudolph's got the runs. I've been out all night busting my hump. But I can't continue now, not with this bump. So do me a favor, be a real pal, take over for me. You be Santa Claus, pal." I said, "I'm from Brooklyn, I ain't right for the part." But he told me, Santa Claus, he comes from your heart. So he made me an offer I could not refuse. He said, "Stop at every house, except for the Jews. It's regulation, you gotta pass over them." So I got in the suit, stepped down in the sleigh, and I wondered, why do reindeers all smell this way? I was set on my mission, didn't want to be late, while old St. Nick spent the night fooling around with my date. But that night, I was Santa, bringing kids joy and bliss. And if you don't believe me, then yo, jingle this. Since then, I've been with him, every year in the cold, riding shotgun with Santa, 'cause he's fat and he's old. I'm his #1 helper. I've been deputized. So this Christmas Eve, don't you be surprised if you hear about some guy who brings kids all new toys and games. Just know it's me, the baker from Brooklyn, and they call me James.